So the next tool we're going to talk about is the selection area tool, which I'm going to call the lasso tool because that's about the only one that I use, and it's one that's, I would say, it's most commonly known as the lasso tool. It's very, very flexible, and it does a lot in Clip Studio. I'm going to zoom up on this cat's head here, and we're going to show how this works. Now, what I've done, we've still got our line art on the transparent layer, and below that, I've just got a layer that's filled with white. If you don't know how to use the fill tool, which we're going to cover in a second, click the bucket, make sure that refer to editing layer is checked, make sure you're on this layer, which I've renamed to flats, and just fill it with white. But yeah, just fill it with white, and that'll fill that layer with just one solid white color. But the lasso tool is for making selections. So if I draw a shape here and lift my hand or my mouse, it's going to close that shape. So if I draw it, no matter what kind of shape that I draw, by default, it's just going to create a new selection each time. Whenever it closes that shape, the default behavior, you're going to see this little selection launcher, they call it, pop up. Now, this is another thing that is highly customizable. If you don't want it to show up at all, just go to View and then Selection Launcher. You can turn that off, and that'll turn it off and on. There's actually some pretty neat options in here. The option on the far left will just deselect it, so it just completely disappears. There is a crop, which will crop the entire drawing into whatever shape you pick. So if I zoom out here and draw a shape around his head and click crop, it will shrink the entire image, and you lose it permanently. Just to make that clear, it will go away and just make that your option. It's not something I use very much. And let's see, what else is on here? There is an invert selected area. So for example, if I go to the fill tool, and for now it's set to just refer to editing layer, and I pick a color and I fill, it's going to fill the inside of that selection. If I click on the invert selected area and fill, you'll notice that it fills outside of the selection. So it's just a way to, basically flip-flop your selection from you want to select what's inside you selected or what's outside. That's what this little button right here does. You've got expand selected area, which if you click that, you'll get this little window pop up. You can say, I want to expand this by 10 pixels, and it grows by 10 pixels. Not something we'll be using very much. Shrink works the same way. Click shrink, let's say 10 pixels, and it shrinks it back down 10 pixels. Delete will delete the contents of that selection. As you can see here, it deletes the white, and we can see the transparency. I'm also using Control Z to undo when you guys see that stuff come back. Control Z by default will just undo the last thing that you did. Control Shift Z will redo, basically. You can see that here. We've got delete outside selection, which does exactly what that sounds like. Cut and paste, copy and paste, scale, rotate, not really things we're going to use. There is a fill tool that's just on this bar by default, so it will fill with whatever color you have selected. New tone, again, if you want to put a tone in there, you got that option. Now these three over here, I added to the launcher. These are not in here by default. And if you want to do this yourself, this is hue saturation, the levels adjustment, color balance. So if I fill this with a color and then open up the hue saturation little button here, I can go in and shift that color without having to go into the menu to do that. So if you want to know how that's done, make a selection, and then on the far right, you've got the selection launcher settings. And this works just like the quick settings that we talked about earlier. I'm going to remove the hue saturation here for a second so you see it disappears. So if I go into edit, and then all of those options are under tonal correction, I believe. Yep, right here. So now if I want to add a hue saturation slider to that window, I just drag it right over here and drop it down. And you can decide, whether you want it, in left side of this little separator or on the right side of the little separator. All these little options there are available. But now that they're there, I can open up hue saturation. I can open up my level correction, or I could open up the color balance, all without having to go into any keyboard shortcut or the menus up here, which is kind of cool. The other thing that you can do with this lasso is if you've made a selection, let's say that I want to select this cat's head. So I can go to my lasso, I can start tracing these lines. I'm going to show you the manual way here, but Clip has a better way we'll look at in a bit. I'm going to select all the way around. And if you notice your hand kind of getting in a bind, just go out and close the selection because you can always add to it. You can hold down Shift, and if you look really close, right next to the cursor, there's a little plus sign popping up when I press Shift. We can just add to the selection. I'm just holding down Shift right now, and we're adding. You see I messed up there. That's fine, because you can hold down Alt or Option. You can see that that's changing into a minus sign, and I can hold down that and remove it from these areas. And again, if this feels tedious, because it is, there's a better way I'm going to show you in a second. But you will appreciate it much more if you know how to manually do it. So again, Shift to add, Alt or Option to remove, and that's some of the basic functionality of how the lasso works. Now I can switch to my Fill tool and fill that selection. The Fill tool itself has a lot of amazing options. We're going to talk about that, and it's going to get its own lesson as well, so stay tuned for that. But before we do, there's a couple of things to know about the lasso. So if you're going to add in your flat colors like this with the lasso, a couple of things to keep in mind. You've got all these different options over here. New selection, which is what it's set to by default, just means that every time you draw a selection, you're going to get a new one. Every single time. New selection. Now, this add to selection option, let's say that it's kind of the equivalent of permanently holding Shift. So even without holding Shift, I can add to these selections. Maybe you're doing something with a lot of little selections and that's easier for you. That's an option. Same thing with the remove from selection. I don't really have to hold down anything and it's removing everything. Now, to me, it's much quicker to just use the keyboard shortcuts for adding and removing from a selection. So again, I've got my selection, hold down Shift, hold down Alt, and I can easily change that. This last one here is select from selection. I don't really use this at all in the lasso. I do use it quite a bit when we get to the auto select or the magic wand. But to show you how this works, if you have an existing selection, and then you choose this select from selection, no matter what I do, it's going to choose the intersection of those two selections. That makes sense. So this is my existing selection. I'm going to start a new one, and you'll see that it's taking the first selection, and my second selection comes from that. Does that make sense? I'll do this one more time. So again, first I'm going to make a new selection. And now I'm going to make a second selection that cuts across all of this. And you'll notice that it's only going to end up with the intersection of those two. To me, this is more useful on the wand, and again, we'll talk about that when we get to the magic wand. I almost always leave my selection mode right here, use Shift and Alt to switch back and forth. The second tool, or the second setting on the lasso I want to talk about is anti-aliasing. And this is really important when it comes to doing your flat colors. So if I zoom up really close here, and I'm going to trace the inside of this line here, and I'm going to fill this with that orange again, switching to the Fill tool and just filling it. And to deselect, there's a couple of options. You can either click outside your selection, which is what I've been doing, or you can click this little button right here that says deselect, which is also available down here. But if I turn off my inks, I want you to notice something. If I zoom up really close, you've got these jagged edges. No matter how close I get, even down to like a single pixel, the edges are jagged. This is what you want when you're doing your flat colors, when you're laying in those. Because if you have it set to, that's what this anti-alias is. Right now it's set to none. If you set this to, there's weak and, what else is it called? Weak, medium, and strong. And I'll show you the difference. So this is with anti-aliasing off. And if I use the weak version and fill, it does this little fuzzy action here along the edge here. There might be some scenarios where you want this, but when you're laying in your flat colors, this is a huge, or can be a huge pain to try to deal with, because when you do switch to your auto selection tools, it won't always grab. Like you can see if I switch to that magic wand and click it, it's not grabbing those pixels along the edge. So this is kind of a pain. I wouldn't recommend doing even weak or medium or strong, any of these. These are just varying levels of that. And you can see that here, that really soft edge. Maybe for your rendering you might want to have that, but not for the flatting stage. Now this last section here on the lasso, I want to talk about stabilization. Now this is not a default option that even shows up, and I want to show you guys how to change that while we're here. You see this little show subtool detail palette, all this stuff here, this little wrench icon? If I click on that, what this does is it lets you show and hide what shows up in this box. So by default, there is no stabilization on the lasso, or at least when I last installed it, it wasn't an option. What stabilization does, it sort of smooths out your lines. Okay, it's really useful. You can see the little difference here between the jagged kind of shaky line and this is smoother. This is really useful for inking, but I've really decided I like it even on my lasso sometimes. If you want that to show up over here, just click on the wrench, go to correction, and click on stabilization. Now this isn't turning stabilization on and off. It's just making it visible so that we can change it. So you can turn it off, you can set it to 0. No matter how shaky that your line is, it's not really going to do much good. Or you can turn stabilization on, and it'll be a little bit slower, but it smooths out those lines and it makes it a little bit just more streamlined basically. If you're used to Procreate, if you've ever used that app, they call it Streamline in their brush settings. But stabilization is something that you may or may not want depending on what you're doing. It does slow you down a little bit from making really fast selections. You can see that it took it a second to show up there. So you might want to put it on 0 if you're making a lot of intricate selections very quickly. But I found that I don't move that fast anyway. So you can play around with the numbers on this as far as how much stabilization you actually want. But the lasso is something I use quite often, and there's even more to talk about, so we'll cover it in the next lesson.